So, Mark, how are you today?
Pretty good, Oliver. Yourself?
It's good to see you. Always nice to talk about innovation and technology and what Henkel's up to.
Definitely.
So this is new, the Mobility Alliance. It has a ring to it, but can you tell us what the Mobility Alliance is, please?
Sure, Oliver. Basically, back in 2018, Henkel and RLE formed what we call the Mobility Alliance. It's the combination of Henkel's expertise in material science and RLE's expertise in engineering. And the partnership focuses on optimizing vehicle components at the very early stages in the design process. The intent is to deliver the lightest weight, most cost-effective designs while still meeting the performance and safety requirements associated with the OEM. We plan to do this by using RLE's engineering expertise and Henkel's advanced structural solutions, which include structural inserts, panel reinforcement, structural tapes, and structural adhesives.
Why is this partnership between Henkel and RLE so relevant to the industry, particularly at this time?
As you know, the adoption of the battery electric vehicle is growing at a significant rate right now. The body in white plays an extremely important role as it represents one of the largest potential areas for weight savings on the vehicle. While we want to achieve the most weight savings possible, we don't want to compromise safety or the performance of the vehicle. The Alliance helps accomplish both those goals. It allows us to maximize weight savings while ensuring the protection of the battery, electronic components, and the overall vehicle is protected in the event of a crash.
Yeah, that's a delicate balance, using the lightweight materials yet still maintaining a level of safety. Exactly at what point in the vehicle development process would you say this approach is most effective? Is it early on, midway, towards the end?
The best time is early on in the design phase. That's the point where you can save the most amount of cost and the time. It can be used later in the development process, but it's much more difficult to save weight and cost at that time.
So I'm very curious, what kind of results have you seen using this approach, this process?
Sure. When we formed the Alliance, we did a pilot study on an ESUV, which was composed of 75% aluminum, 25% steel, and we were able to save 42 kilograms of weight while still meeting the crash and NVH performance targets by using structural inserts, structural adhesives, and structural patches. We did modify several of the key components within the vehicle, such as the rocker, front bumper, the A and B pillars, rear floor members, and doors.
So Mark, are you able to give me an example of this process at work?
One example I can talk about, Oliver, is a body side example. In that example, we reduced the thickness of the body side outer and we added some structural reinforcement patches, and we were able to achieve significant weight savings and still met the stiffness requirements associated with the vehicle. Another example was on the rocker, where we replaced some heavier crush cans with structural inserts, and we were able to reduce weight and also meet the requirements for crash. We did all these optimizations using FEA and CA analysis and different engineering techniques. This helped us predict the structural behavior of the designs and also confirm that our designs met targets, but also were optimized for cost and performance.
Well, Mark, all this innovation is very interesting. It's very fascinating. I want to thank you.
No problem.
And I understand that Henkel has created a virtual reality experience to help engineers visualize the advantages of designing with the Mobility Alliance. Is that something that you can share with us today?
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be
Absolutely.
great.
Great.
Let's take a look at that.
Sounds great. Here we are in the Mobility Alliance VR experience. Behind me, you can see our virtual test vehicle. In the next few minutes, we'll get up close with a few crash simulations from actual Mobility Alliance tests. You'll see how our design enhancements can improve your lightweighting, safety, and performance efforts. Let's have a look. Front collisions account for more deaths and injuries than any other automobile accident type, making this a very important area of the vehicle to study when it comes to crash performance. In this particular simulation, we optimized the front bumper and inner seal to reduce weight. Then we added structural inserts, shown here in red, to provide reinforcements. Here's how it performed in the small overlap simulation. Our results showed full battery crash protection with no intrusion into the battery cells, allowing us to improve vehicle weight while still meeting industry standards of less than 150 millimeters front wall intrusion. In the side impact simulation, we optimized the geometry of the rocker ribs, again reducing weight, and added 3 structural inserts to the rocker. Let's step inside the vehicle and see how our improvements fared in the pole crash simulation. Wow, that feels impressive when you're standing where I am. And the testing results were even more impressive. We were well within the target of less than 10 millimeters intrusion into the battery housing, besting the original design by nearly 30%, while still reducing metal thickness to save weight. Now I'll step back out of the vehicle to show you the final simulation, the roof crush test. In this scenario, we maximize light weighting of the A and B pillars by reducing reinforcement thickness by 30%. Then we added 2 structural inserts to reinforce the weak areas. So how do we do with this test? Let's take a look. In this case, we achieved a strength to weight ratio value of 5.1. A value over 4 is the expectation in the premium OEM sector. As you've seen, our Mobility Alliance combines RLE's design, engineering expertise, and Henkel's structural solutions to match, or in some cases, exceed OEM design specifications. With this test vehicle, we are able to save 42 kilograms while achieving all the original performance requirements. We look forward to hearing about your structural design challenges and partnering with you to create solutions that meet or exceed your expectations.